Hello, my name is Joseph Harzbecker. I'm a collection development and reference services management librarian. Much of the work that went into this was done at excuse me, Boston University Medical Library. So I would like to thank you for tuning in to my presentation. I hope you find it useful, even if you take a few things away from it. And I want to thank the organizers of this virtual conference. Okay. Some effective time-tested methods in acquisitions, deselection, and retention of resources in collection development. As we know, these decisions pose numerous challenges for librarians, to say the least. Librarians want to expand access and reach a wider audience of users. However, price increases, publisher-vendor mergers, budgets, and more, such as technology changes, websites, have exacerbated these challenges. This presentation examines some approaches in meeting these challenges and maximizing the collections budget, ultimately strengthening collections and user accessibility. So some important considerations. I mean, things are based on your local culture, but again, many things in here like school accreditations, copyright concerns of authors, publishers, curricula development changes, last minute requests for resources to be added, electronic subscriptions. Are they really perpetual access? Some, as we know, with aggregators, for example, may have limited concurrent users or seats or the full unlimited access, which usually costs some more money in the finances. Then there are the interlibrary loans and requests, looking at resources with impact factors, the Institute for Scientific Information, ISI, journal indexing. Where's the journal indexed? Is it in ProQuest, for example, International Nursing Index, PubMed, chemical abstracts? You get the picture there. And then negotiating these licenses for your users, for perpetual access, and then space planning. So I'm going to try and touch on these as we go through this. Space planning, redesign, much has been going on with that. And even, public libraries have experienced that with technology changes and studying and work habits and COVID and so forth. So the needs of the students, the users, faculty and staff, say clinicians even, to meet the needs, many are consolidating collections and renovating libraries to create space for new ways to teach and learn and study. In many cases, this has caused the removal of print serials and books and highlighted the need for electronic equivalents. And then there's the 24 access to e-resources, but there is concern, are these titles and packages part of a permanent collection? Okay. Here's an example of a pie chart. So to just give some samples here, I'm just picking on a few of these. The color on these would be in, what is paid to EBSCO, what is paid to Liebert, what is paid to Nature Publishing, and so forth. And that's just for informational, with showing this to other librarians, decision makers within the library and the university as a whole. This is an example of a worksheet, Excel worksheet. It's for just going from left to right, could be the resource, and then going in a bit further with some numbers would be, say, 513260, which is a journal code in the budget, and then moving on to subscription period, the prices, and so on. So it's an idea, but it's not going to be exhaustive in this presentation. The next one, though, is, say, an example, a subset of that worksheet, which would show resources that are shared cost with a main campus, a satellite campus within the university, okay, or a hospital, okay. Then, part of this is the standard to evaluate resources, even in adding a potential resource. There are ways to get counter reports of turnaways on a title where users may have tried to access the title and are turned away, but generally there are a number of counter reports, code of practice that enable publishers, vendors to report the usage of their resources in a consistent way. So it enables us to compare data received from these publishers and vendors. And I want to thank them. My experiences, they put a lot of time into that. So anyhow, so those are, a guide there, and even evaluating with retention of resources. What is the cost per use? Okay. This is one example of a British medical journal database, clinical evidence with cost per use. The costs, for example, these are not actual numbers. Well, no, they are, for fiscal years, and a negotiated price increase of 3%. Because initially they wanted an 8% increase, and it's like, whoa, we can't afford that, or that's not going to look good in the budget. So they were able to, some bit of negotiating, agree to a 3-year term with an opt-out clause with no penalty. So if for some reason the budget came into a shortfall in the second or third year, we could opt out of it. All right. Another one I want to spend some time on are the Nature Publishing journals. So some significant aspects of this are mainly the subscriber is under the umbrella of a consortium, Northeast Research Libraries, NERL, which, as many of us know, is primarily academic. And within this, there are 0 increases because Nature was good enough to recognize what was going on with the COVID pandemic. Another part of this that I'm going to show you is, say, for example, one title, Nature, which was split 50-50 between Campus A and Campus B because in previous years there had only been print available and there were two subscriptions, one at Campus A, one at Campus B. So with good teamwork, collaboration, we say, hey, we'll pay 50-50. And the same is true for the next collection, Nature Monthly's reviews. And this one, again, is through the consortium, but it's paid also through a subscription agent. So there are a bunch of things going on here. It's why I wanted to show this one. Okay. And many of these excellent titles and the usage. The third collection in this was primarily Campus A, medical, subscribing, but we negotiated for all university, Campus A, Campus B access. Okay, so, and there are quite a few here. Another thing to point out. So, okay, one in here, or the one at the bottom, spinal cord, series cases. Oh, it's only 38 uses. But that's counter, that's important. But again, the journal could be very, very, very important to researchers working on a grant. So there are some gives and takes here. Okay. Another one, university audit. Sometimes these can just come up as got to get it done very soon. So having this background information on Excel sheets and having things saved in, say, for example, Alma Ex Libris is a tremendous way to put up a report that is readable and for the big decision makers. So I'm not going to read all these, but you can see what was being paid, the number one for, one particular fiscal year. And I just put these in as 19 YY and what is it? Some just made up numbers there. Okay. Consortia, as I alluded to a few minutes ago, there's good old Neural, Boston Library Consortium, being a bit local with that, Minuteman, but I don't want to leave parts of the country out, so I put in TechShare, Midwest, Amigos, so forth. So those have some advantage in teamwork, cost savings, negotiating. And then e-resources, what is actually perpetual access? Okay, so great, you get this, but what's going on? So you can arrange these, and for example, we did, say, electronic books and journal back files because of some space planning. And again, we want to got some publishers to join PORTICO. There's locks in there and some examples down here. Mass Medical Society, New England Journal of Medicine, for example. Okay, going on, there's also Internet Archive, and this is a big area, of course, so I'm not going to read all of this to you. But again, these are tremendous assets in the whole scheme of things. Mergers, not just be, many of them are out there, but some of these, I just picked one here, De Gruyter, Brill, some concerns of an author's alliance, consolidation of publishing houses. So there are some things going on here to, look at the details, and it can work into the decisions. Okay, open access, which again is really the talk of the town. It's been around for a while, and there are these good old different colors. The gold open access, one of the most open, least restrictive, freely available. And you can read on here accepted articles. But again, a sticking point can be many researchers, students, so forth, need the current year, right, of the journal or the published articles. So which open access do they fall into? So these these take some time to look at, but they're very excellent, as we know. Then down the bottom, the black open access and the legal open access model. So you have to be careful with these hybrids and bronze. Okay. Some future considerations. Again, there's much talk about chat, GBT. Copyright Clearance Center recently did something on artificial intelligence licensing, the path forward. Going down to the bottom here, I think National Library of Medicine is doing a celebration of open access for all and so forth. So again, it's something to just keep up on. Okay. So any comments or questions, I'd be more than happy to speak with you, email with you. Thank you very much for your time and best wishes.